Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Para OR Normal Guyz. And, well, like clockwork, the Paranormal kicked in, and right at showtime, we had a massive, I don't know what kind of failure it was. Everything went bonkers. So let's see. Let me invite my co-host in, Miss Cheyenne. Hi, how are you?
Fabulous.
a little nervous after all that. All right, well,
we'll get there.
So the chat is open and the toll-free line is up. Let me put that on the top there. So we are live on Yerg's Radio, unless by some miracle we are not. 1-888-88-YERGZ. You can call in with your questions. And I'm going to bring Meg in here. We're running really behind, but we're going to make up for it. Meg, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Thank you so much for having me. I'm sorry my smiling face is not on, but I'm here.
That's what matters.
I'm glad you're here. I will take it any day of the week. We know you're beautiful, so
thank you.
So, and well, if we were going by beauty, y'all would be making my screen black. So y'all
you're welcome.
So, Meg, I'm totally thrown off base tonight. So I'm just going to let you introduce yourself and tell us about you.
All right. Well, I'm a lifelong horror sci-fi fan. And so I've turned that into a career. I'm a fiction author, but I've also co-authored the Science of Horror series that started with Science of Monsters, Science of Women in Horror, which I was a Bram Stoker award nominee with my beautiful best friend co-author Kelly Florence, as well as Science of Stephen King, Science of Serial Killers, Science of Witches, Science of Agatha Christie. Our next book in the series is Science of Alfred Hitchcock. And we also have a travel book coming out called Travels of Terror, the spooky spots across America. And as I mentioned, I write fiction. So I also write spooky short stories, screenplays, novels, basically anything paranormal. Also, I like spooky things that are not so paranormal as well. And I love writing complicated, interesting women too. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. And I also have a podcast, Horror Rewind, where we talk about spooky movies and TV shows and books from the past and the present.
Awesome.
My kind of
technical problems.
Oh no.
Yeah, it went bonkers, and I don't know why. Well, so what got you started in all this? What were you? I don't know. Did you grow up with around haunted houses or tales, or what got you started in it?
I was probably I think that if you looked at me, you'd say that's a very normal looking child. But I think that for whatever reason, I think a lot of people can relate. There was just something about horror movies and spooky stories and all those things and aliens and all that stuff that just I loved. And I think anybody listening to this podcast, anybody watching right now understands. I think that I escaped into those worlds. And there's something about science fiction and horror. It makes me think and it makes me imagine and it makes me create. And, some people are that way about fantasy. Some people are about that way about other things. But for me, it's the scary stuff. I love to feel. I love to, there's actually something very empathetic about watching characters go through these things. Also, I grew up in Vancouver, British Columbia. And it was right when they were filming the X-Files, and I got to actually see them filming an episode, and just down the street from where I was taking classes, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I want to check out that show, and then I became a lifelong fan of that show, and named my first son after Fox Mulder. So. I'm a diehard. It's just one of those things. It's like, how do you explain that you love something? It's so hard to explain. It's like, how do you explain you love a person. It's ineffable. It just is.
Mm-hmm. And we love things that scare us, and we love things we can't explain.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know completely what you mean on that.
Yeah, I'm over here testing stuff in the background too as we speak. So
I brought all the aliens with me.
Yeah, I was going to say, what happened? I would have loved to go around the X-Files, and you just brought them all right to us.
Yep.
Hey, we've been known to have some spooky occurrences on the show, so fingers crossed for tonight.
Yeah. Usually, well, I won't say usually, but occasionally we've had my hair pulled and weird stuff like that. Okay, the chat is working. It's good.
And
all right.
Us ladies hearing things that Glenn can't, so.
Ooh.
It's fun.
Yeah, when my co-host had heard a woman scream twice on one show, and I never heard it. And
oh my gosh!
I went back and listened, and it was plainly in the audio. So,
oh my gosh!
We both looked at each other and were like, and it was kind of like, "Did you hear that? Because I heard that."
Oh, creepy!
And that night too, Glenn would just randomly disappear out of the stream and.
Oh.
Yeah, I would go to somewhere else. What was really weird about that was I could still see and hear and interact with everyone that was on screen, but they couldn't see nor hear me.
Oh
and God. When I popped back in on their side, it was like nothing changed. It was like for 30 or 45 seconds. So yeah, sometimes we get weird things happening on the show when you start talking about aliens and ghosts and all kinds of stuff. Crazy things does tend to happen. So
oh my gosh,
if he ever pops off screen, I'm just say, oh, there Glenn's going to the third dimension,
and he's going to the Twilight Zone.
That's right. It must be good they keep sending me back, or it must be bad. I don't know what you do.
They're like he's getting ready to tell us some good stuff. Yank him out of there.
Yeah,
exactly. They put me back into the wrong time slip. So I looked through some of your books, and you wrote one that really fascinated me, The Science of Witches.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that one. That one looked pretty cool.
Sure. Thank you. So yeah, I mean, we approach it from many different angles. I was excited to learn about the sort of history background of witches, obviously from, obviously there's been a lot of, research done from the historical background as far as American witches. The Salem witch trials has been really, that every middle schooler or high schooler learns about that at some point. So we do obviously touch on that, but there's so much more to learn. And so for me, just internationally learning about how witches were perceived and treated, I think that as an American, I sort of like had this very Americanized sort of idea of how Puritans treated witches, but I wasn't entirely plugged into how women who were either believed to be doing witchcraft or actually were interested in witchcraft or were doing witchcraft, how they were treated in Italy, in England, in Africa, in places like that. So that was really fascinating. But also through media, that was something that we've done in all our books, is we look through the lens of how they are portrayed in film, in books, etc. So that was something that, the witch is often, I mean, when you really think about it, almost always portrayed in two very specific ways.
The bad guy.
Yeah, in either as a monster in horror, or there's the really extreme, like Glinda the Good Witch, and she's beautiful, right? So she's either a beautiful, almost princess situation where she's really,
this
really
gnarly,
good. Yep.
Ugly
exactly
creature.
hag. Yep. And so so they're sort of taking away any sort of like real authentic female aspect. So it's really sort of an interesting dichotomy, and so we really get into some interesting tropes there. And then obviously, you know, the actual science. We talked to an ethnobotanist who is indigenous, who you know, gets into sort of the rejection of the feminine ways of using herbs to treat disease, and how, you know, that was a way that women taught their daughters to, you know, treat the people that they were helping, and that was looked down upon, and a more masculine, if you will, way was uplifted. And so there's so many different aspects to look at that are either, you know, and whether you believe in any sort of paranormal aspect of witchdom, I think that there's a fascinating thing to, you know, learn on every page. So we just approach it as like, what do we want to learn about witches in different countries, different times of the world, you know, different eras, all that stuff. So it was really fun. We had a blast.
I'm very intrigued by that, because you have, and if you look at it more like common day, it's either you're a hippie or you're a Satan worshiper now. If you talk about
Yep.
I think the stereotype is what our generation, I'll use our, but I think that's what we grew up with. You were, you know, like you said, you were either good or you were bad, and you know,
there was no in between.
Yeah, now we're I think in this great awakening, we're learning, well, maybe we weren't so right about that all the time.
Yeah, there's actually such a an interesting idea of like, well, I really like this idea of like harnessing the inner witch and sort of like finding, you know, the amazing like healing aspects of it, and the amazing
preach it, sister.
Yes, the amazing like, you know, coven aspect of it, and like actually uplifting the women you know, around you, and not being so
closed-minded.
Yes, not being so closed-minded, and certainly not focusing on the looks of the witch, and you know, the physicality of the witch, and things like that. And media, that's how we learn about witches, you know, unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to look at it. But movies is how we get often our information. I mean, when we think about the paranormal in most aspects, you know, when I think about my education about aliens, or I actually just today watched a movie I'd never even heard of. I'm watching it for work because I have a very strange job. And it was it's a Tobe Hooper movie I had never heard of, called Spontaneous Combustion. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I haven't seen it, but I feel like I've heard of it.
Dourif. And I don't know, I mean, I'm assuming y'all love spontaneous human combustion. It's fun.
Obviously.
And that's what it's about. And you know, it's definitely not one of Tobe Hooper's best. But you know, when I think about like, I had a book about the paranormal when I was a kid, and it had like this picture, this black and white picture in it of a woman who had supposedly died from spontaneous human combustion. It just had her feet, you know? And it still sticks with me to this day. Like, it was just so like, oh my God, this is so cool, you know? And like at any moment you could just like go up in flames. And really it's the books and the films and the TV shows, I think, so much that like provide such an indelible, you know, moment of like, oh, this is so cool. And really that's what leads us to really do the sort of like research, right? That's when we start going, oh my gosh, I have to learn more about aliens. I have to learn more about this. So I think it's a responsibility.
If you want a backstory to that picture, I can send you a good link to a podcast.
Oh, great. Oh, please. Yeah, love it. Love it. I love all of it.
It was funny. As soon as you said that, that was the memory that popped up in my head, that same picture.
Yeah,
yes.
That was exactly
grade school or somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all imprinted in our little brains.
Well, this other podcast did a deep dive into that particular case of what happened with that woman. So
I love
that's immediately made me think of.
Oh, good. Yeah, I love all that stuff. I love all the mysteries of the world.
I can tell you, as a firefighter paramedic, professionally trained, I had never seen one and have never heard of one, and we never trained for one.
Oh, come on.
No. I saw some weird things. Don't get me wrong. I saw some very strange things, but no.
Not that.
Well, I got the fire extinguisher. I guess
you're ready. You're ready.
That's what we got.
That's what I saw. But you're right. The media does, in all aspects, they provide our images we see and things that we, and especially as young children, if you see something, and when you were talking about witches, just flashback in. I don't know, first, second grade. I was in Ingleside Baptist school, and one of the teachers came around on Halloween as a witch to show us how evil they were.
Yep.
Yeah. It was just, and it was the imagery, the black hat with the old nose and the you would picture
the giant mole along with the nose.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Whoever did her makeup at the time was either really good or my imagination was really great, because that's what popped back in instantly to my head when you started talking about it. And the media can do good and bad. They can divide us on, do you like Crest or do you like AIM? Apple or Google. So it seems as though that they try and divide us on every single topic there is.
Oh, they can, yes.
Seeing like little child Cheyenne in elementary school learning about the Salem witch trials. I'm like, yes, tell me more. I need to know about the witches.
Yes, I know, right? And those are like my friend Kelly, who writes the books with me. She always tells a story about how she learned about Bigfoot in school. They talked about the legend of Bigfoot, and she was like the one looking out the window at the woods, going like, okay, after school, I'm going out there and finding him. We're going to be friends, and that's why she's my best friend today, because it's those kids, it's us that, we're the ones still talking about these things today, because it captured our imagination, because, often we were probably the kids who didn't like the things the other kids liked. I never cared about sports. I never cared about a lot of the things that other kids cared about. From day one, I was like, why didn't Lydia want to marry Beetlejuice in the end? I still didn't understand
Glenn,
that,
I told you we'd be best friends after this.
Yes, see?
I'm okay with that. I think it's great.
I feel like you're just reading my mind.
Exactly. Yep. There's just a certain type of person, and it's just we get it. And so, and that's the thing is I'm so glad too that, as much as I, of course, also bemoan, as I'm bemoaning the media, I also bemoan social media. It's also oh my gosh, I found my people, because it was back in the day when, I mentioned the X-Files, it was oh, there's people on here back in the late 90s, early 2000s, because I'm old. And so, when I was in high school and the internet was just a new thing, and there were actually people on there talking about the things I wanted to talk about, and you were starting to find those communities. It was oh wow, there really are people like me. Not everybody, cares about sports and all that stuff. And so,
yes, I'm not the only weirdo out there.
I'm not the only weirdo. Yeah. So it was, so isn't it great that now we have this ability to connect and talk to people,
Mhm.
and that we, you know, my friend and I can write books and connect with people who are like, yes, a whole book, you know, about Stephen King, or a whole book about
Just for me.
whatever. Yes,
Just
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So
No,
it's the
all of
greatest.
that is like completely why I have started writing the book that I'm working on with the girl that I'm working on it with.
Yes.
Because my boyfriend, fiance, is a comic book artist.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I have gotten so much into writing in like comic book form that I was like, well, maybe I should just create a web comic like this. But I wanted it to be around a witch.
Oh, cool.
But she is teaching the reader about, well, you can use this forage stuff to make in all this different stuff that you have in your home and what's used for. And she is like me. She's got her cat, she's got her rabbit who eats all of her books and everything. And but I wanted it to be a learning experience for people, that it's not just, you know, it's not your typical witch. She's like, well, and we have these crystals for this, and here's and she's real excited, like, here's what you can do with mushrooms.
Yeah, that it's like, this is an actual like academic almost practice. That's really cool. That's really
and then I have another one that's based on my little coven of girls at work that I want to call Witch is Witch. And we're all just like crazy hippie witches. I haven't gotten into writing that one yet, but it's next on my list.
That's awesome.
Because we say we have our little coven.
Oh, that's that. I'm so glad you're uplifting the witch, because that's definitely what we need to do, for sure.
Well, and what was great about it too was that, like, the three of us separately, even though we had worked together for so long, we're all into this stuff. And one day my one coworker was like, man, I need a crystal for this. And me and my other coworker were like, which one you need?
You all have
I pulled out the bag, she pulled out her bag, and I'm like, which one you got? You need some runes? I got some runes too.
Now that is a coven.
We were just like, we found our people.
When my daughter saw that you were going to be my guest, she sent me like 5 questions, like machine gun, to ask you.
Oh, so wonderful.
She's going to yell at me if you don't ask her. She wanted to know, which deity do you follow?
Oh, wow.
She's deep in this, apparently. Yeah.
Which deity do I follow? Oh, gosh. Oh, my gosh. Well, I have to say, oh, gosh.
I'm gonna take a guess in my head of what you're gonna say.
I follow the deity I follow is the deity of my own wonderful life's path. That is my answer.
Okay.
Yes.
Whichever one
is
good for the day.
Yes. Yes.
So we'll get you off that one, because she pinned you down with the first one, and I apologize.
Yes.
I will be honest, I do not understand a lot of this stuff about as far as witchcraft goes.
We're here to help you.
She wants, well, see, this other thing, I'm getting hit in the head constantly with crystals. She from my wife, she asked what your favorite crystal was and what's your go-to for protection.
Oh, okay. So I just picked up, I was just in my favorite crystal is like whatever is sort of like I'm feeling at the moment. So I was just in Sonoma celebrating my 20th wedding anniversary, and
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I was called to get this black tourmaline necklace, I believe it was, and it was just gorgeous, and it was like a sort of a not a protection, but kind of it sort of like provides protection of like getting away kind of negative energy, which we could all use. And so I loved it, and so I immediately bought it. I'm also
do you have one that you regularly gravitate towards?
I really love jade. And I was wearing citrine for a long time. It just depends, like, kind of what I'm feeling in the moment. For protection, that's tough. I'm kind of wearing that black tourmaline right now. So yeah, I have to go with that right now. Yes, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mine is always amethyst for everything.
Amethyst, yeah. Amethyst is like the go-to for sure. Like that's like you can't go wrong with amethyst. And it's just gorgeous.
I have a big hunk of it on my desk at work, and I always have my amethyst bracelet.
Oh yes, that's good. I can't go wrong.
My wife has provided me with a bowl full of crystals to my right, and then on top of my desk that I fidget with during the show are probably another 50. So
yes.
Oh, she's in the chat. Okay.
I saw someone say labradorite. Yes, yeah. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, that was she's the one that was asking these tough questions I asked.
You. Good. Oh yes, Stormy left. Yes, labradorite. Yes, and I just got some bumblebee jasper, I think it was called.
Ooh,
me too. I like the really weird.
I don't think I've seen that one.
It's really, I'm gonna look it up on my phone right now. I think that's what it was called, bumblebee jasper.
It's got it's kind of a grayish and orange and yellow, and I don't think you can probably see.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
that. I like that one specifically because it reminds me of a Buckeye.
Yeah.
I was thinking football for me, but and it was orange since I'm a Tennessee fan. So.
Oh, nice.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, nice.
See, again, me and her on the same page here of sports. Yeah.
But you do you.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I will say I
did.
All
I'm about.
Towards the weird. We had growing up. They showed us the Patterson Gimlin, and instantly, like 6 of us were like, "Boom!" We're gonna. Yeah. This is nice. But also, it is a little bit different as a boy growing up, especially when all your friends are competing in sports and stuff. You kind of start following it. It's not my favorite. I won't say it's my favorite go-to, but it's like background music, during Sundays you'd have background music on. It was always football or baseball or something. So, but yeah, and that was the way I developed your coworker. Was the way I developed the interest in Bigfoot, and then of course we actually did end up having one in our woods, so that even made it so.
Oh my.
Yeah. So also, what did you always know that? I don't want to call you a witch, but did you know that you were leading that way, or I don't see?
It's not always an insult. It's not an insult. I guess it can be used as one, but
I feel like every woman has an inner witch, and it's about harnessing,
letting it out.
Yeah, it's about harnessing, because I think when you were talking about bringing that witch in with that wart to and the scary face to sort of scare you, what they're trying to scare you with is this sort of concept of like a scary independent woman who doesn't have
don't need no man to take care of her.
Yep, she has no man to take care of her. She's living alone in the woods. She's taking care of herself.
But what they don't tell you is that's how she wanted it.
Yeah, she's actually doing just fine. And she, you know what I mean? Like she doesn't care how she looks. She's not brushing her hair, which, like, you know, I always forget to brush the back of my hair. So, you know, so it's like, I think every woman inside of her has like that sort of, you know, and when you think of, sort of female rage, I think a lot of it looks like an ugly witch. And I think that, especially to maybe like people who feel like women shouldn't have rage or shouldn't have ugly emotions. So I think every woman has a witch inside of her. And I think that this idea that we, should have time to be in nature, and that we should be, you know, using stones to sort of, you know, feel our emotions, and that we should be taking a personal time to meditate and do all of those things. I think every woman has a witch within her. So I think I saw a woman who's very much, she has like an Instagram, and she's very witchy, and she said, if you have the thought in your head, am I a witch, then you're a witch. And I love that. I love that. I was like, if she's like, if that comes into your head, then you're a witch. And I was like, great, then I'm a witch. So I was like, there, then done. And I just love that. So yes, I'm a witch.
It's like me as a kid, like, what do I got to do to be a Sanderson sister?
There you go. You're there. You are an unofficial Sanderson sister, because it's within you. You know, it's sort of like, it's that thing of like, am I a writer? Some people ask themselves, am I a writer? Because I you know, I'm not published or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Well, you're a writer. It's your soul. Mm-hmm. You are writing, you know, things down on a page, and you're having an emotional connection with it. So therefore you are a writer. That, you know, it's kind of like that. You are a witch.
It's funny you say it like that. Last night I listened to a story by the great Paul Harvey. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about an author. He was a doctor, and he'd been drafted and saw horrible things, and he came back to a small community, and he was still serving as a doctor. And of course, at that time there were surgeons, and he decided that he was the best at his profession in his part of the world. He wanted to get it out, and he wanted to be a writer. He was turned down by like 17 publishers for his book that he wrote. And he decided on he's going to one last one. And if this was it, he was going to toss in the towel. Yeah. Well, long story short, he wrote MASH. He was Hawkeye Pierce. He was the real doctor in life.
Heck yeah.
So that gave me a little incentive, you know. I mean,
yeah.
That reminds me,
it was a smash hit for years.
Right. Exactly.
It reminds me immediately of Todd McFarlane, with how many times he had to put his stuff in to get published. Granted, I don't hear he's the best person, but I love Spawn. Absolutely love Spawn.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
You just gotta keep at it.
You are. Yes. Oh, look, Stormy Luck's a writer. All right. That's right.
Yes. Heck yeah.
Yes, you are. She did a laughy face though.
I don't know what she's writing. Probably kill my daddy, kill my dad. No. I don't know, but it's on tape now. If anything happens.
That's right.
Because clearly that says "kill my father" right there. It's written right there.
Well, so have you ever had any experiences with any type of strange, odd, seen Bigfoot? Or, I mean, like we were saying, sometimes when we're just having a show about it, things go nuts.
Yeah. Well, I feel like over the years I've gotten more like, I feel like I was more of a Scully when I was younger, and I feel like as I've gotten older, I've gotten more Mulder-ish. So for writing this travel book, we went and stayed in haunted hotels all over the U.S. And I actually,
that was fun.
Yeah, it was very fun. But I have to tell you, I slept through the actual best ghost encounter, which is pretty typical of me. But Kelly, right, and it's in the book. I won't give too much away, but basically, she, who had never seen a ghost, and was pretty skeptical up until that moment, we were staying in a hotel that used to be it was a poor farm, and then it was of course, mental hospital, and now it's a hotel in Portland, Oregon. And
Who does that?
Of course.
That's almost cruel.
I know, right? And she saw a man in our hotel room going through my suitcase. To which she was very scared because she thought it was an actual man. And so she went to wake me up, and then when she turned, because she heard him, he started running, but he ran right through the wall. And that's when she realized that he was like not a human being. But if you can believe it, she didn't wake me up, and she just laid there all night awake until I woke up, and then very politely said, "We need to go now." And
I would have been like, "Man, bro, there was some ghost dude like looking through your stuff. Like, I don't know what he was looking for, but
I know." I'm like, and then she of course was like, "Well, your suitcase is so messy anyway. Like, you know, we can't tell if he actually went through it. You know, like there's no evidence." But anyway, like
he's like, "I can't find anything in here."
Yeah, she was so
Nothing's my
polite.
size.
I said, "Next time, will you like wake me up for real?" Like, so she just laid there all night. But also
Poor
she
thing.
goes into more detail in the book. But also, we stayed in a haunted hotel in Florida, St. Augustine, Florida, and I had my own little experience as well, which is in the book. It's not, I didn't see anything, but I felt and heard something. So yeah,
St. Augustine is one of them places.
Yes, yep. So I definitely have had some strange happenings, but after seeing her experience that was almost more affecting on me, because I just know her, and seeing what she went through, like emotionally, I was like, okay, yeah, that was real. So that was really almost life-changing, really. Yeah.
Is she more on the tough side, or more on like the soft side?
Well, she's tough. So I mean, the fact that she even laid there.
So if it scared her, then
so the fact that it scared her. I mean, yeah, like she's the horror movie. Like she and I are like the horror movie queens. Like, and the fact that she was like, "We are leaving right now. Like, we are going to the airport extra early. Like, we're getting the hell out of here." Yeah, I wanted to like stay and have breakfast, and you know, she's like,
no.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
so that was quite the experience.
See, and it's funny for me, it's like I get so freaked out at like movies and stuff, but like as soon as we went to like the haunted asylum we have here, I was like, "No, get me in front, I want to see something."
Oh, funny.
Put me up there.
You don't mind the real stuff, it's the fake stuff.
Yeah, so like the fake stuff that I don't know what's coming, but if you put me in an actual haunted place and I'm expecting stuff, it's more like, I'm like, "Come on, put me up the front of the group. I gotta get pictures. I gotta figure out what's going on." And I did have an experience there, so I'll take it. I was like, "Yes."
Oh, good.
Came here to achieve.
I'm glad you got what you wanted.
Yeah.
So, Meg, what's the scariest you've ever been? I mean, you write about scary stuff, and you sound as though that you've got a strong backbone. What's the scariest thing you've ever had to face?
What's the scariest thing? Oh my gosh, that's a good question. I think
tonight.
the scariest I've ever been, the scariest I've ever been was with my same friend Kelly and I. We had just left the movie The Ring. We'd just seen the movie The Ring, And she used to live out way in the woods, and we were so scared we couldn't sleep in separate rooms. So I went and because for some reason that movie just we were terrified. And I got in bed with her, and then we're laying in bed, and her screen door for some reason slammed. We still don't know why. And we thought like my boyfriend at the time like was trying to play a prank on us or something, but it was probably Samara. And
a slew of obscenities to leave you alone.
Yeah, we just about pooped our pants. And I still don't know what happened. It was probably a raccoon or something, but I don't think we slept a wink. But I'm sure if you ask Kelly right now, she'd say the ghost going through my suitcase. But yeah, but that comes to mind because we were just so young and silly, and I love being scared, so it was a good time being scared, but also like I was genuinely scared, you know. But I also have a teenager driving right now, so that's also like an unsettling scary. You know,
I enjoy it up until it happens, and then I instantly regret all of my decisions.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
You can have people who do get scared to death. As a paramedic, I ran a call at a movie theater, and it was I think the first Saw that came out.
Oh yeah.
And dude thought he was dying, and his body was telling him he was dying. I mean, it like the film, and we had to go and pull him out on a stretcher, and it was so you can get there's a little scared to death, and I never believed it until then. I was like, why is this dude almost dying? He's in his 20s. So
oh my gosh, he was young.
I just feel like of all things, Saw.
I know, because like that's not really. I mean, it's scary, but like that's a weird kind of scary. Like
yeah.
It's like a gross kind of scary.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. My husband is fun to take to movie theaters because it's ironic too because he's an actual like doctor, physician, but he covers his eyes at everything. And it's actually really fun because he's scared of everything. And he loves to go to the Saw movies, but he covers his eyes the whole time. and is swearing the whole time. I mean, I love it.
See, that's
big reaction.
That's me.
Oh, you're
that's
like
me. I'm just like, SOB effing mother effort.
I love going to movies with people like you because I watch every second of it. I love it. And then he's
I'll watch it, but I'll just be like,
he's covering his eyes, and I'm like, but the thing is, like, I would never do what he does for a job. Like, I don't want to touch like anybody's butt or whatever. And like, but he can't watch like fake blood. I just think it's funny.
I'll tell you a funny story. When in 2016, me and my fiance went on our first vacation together, and I took him to Myrtle Beach. So we were just doing any of the tourist stuff we could get our hands on. And we had went through like down on the main boardwalk there. We had went and done like a Ripley's haunted house thing walkthrough. And maybe it was because we had to get let in a line. So I'm holding onto a stranger's shoulders. So thankfully I wasn't cussing and screaming in that stranger's ear. But we go to the wax museum, and it's like a hospital zombie themed one, and it's just me and my fiance in there. He's behind me laughing his butt off because stuff just be popping out of nowhere, and I am screaming at the top of my lungs obscenities.
Yes.
Anything.
Yes.
And we come around to come out, 5 employees standing there, and they're like, what? And I was like, we're fine. Things were jumping at me, and I wasn't happy about it.
I mean,
and my response instead of kicking and screaming is flailing obscenities in everything's direction.
Yeah, that's a lot of people, you know, I mean, some people swear, I'm a laugher. That probably doesn't shock you. I giggle, and yes, some people swear. I mean, everybody has their thing.
Mine just happens to be really, really loud.
Oh, okay. Well,
to scare the employees.
Because someday it's going to be a real monster and you're going to scare them off. So,
you know, I'm hoping they will be scared by my loud noises.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but I will say
if I got quiet and I got low talking and talking real slow and was like really methodical, I was scared and it's time to get out of there.
Now, in that one we went to on the boardwalk, that was the Ripley's one, they had people getting up real close in your face during one part. They put us in like a blackout ballroom where the lights would flash every now and again. And there was a guy running around in there and he would like pop up in your face. And I'm like, dude, I'm seriously suggesting that you not come within any reasonable distance of me because I'm liable to flail or punch or do something at any point in time if you get in my face.
Yeah, I don't like it when they're like breathing their bad.
I mean,
in your face.
they did a good job. They did a really good job, but I was just like, I'm just gonna start.
Yeah,
but yeah, put me in with the real ghost, and I'm just like, nah, come on, let me have it.
That's funny. You're brave. I'll take the fake stuff, thanks.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of either of those. So, well, while we're talking about paranormal, have you ever had any experiences out in the woods with like Bigfoot or anything like that, or are you more of a?
You know,
did you make friends with him?
No, I haven't. You know, I mean, I did. I mean, I've gotten a little too close to. One time, I locked myself out. I was dog sitting, and I locked myself out, and I got stuck with a bear outside. I was living in northern Minnesota at the time, and a bear and I were locked out. I was locked outside of the house while I was going.
I shouldn't laugh at that. That's terrible.
And,
but
so that was bad. So that I'm like scared enough of like actual wildlife that like I'm not really like a camping, you know, out in the wilderness girl anyway. So I feel like going and looking for Bigfoot would be like beyond my. Like I need like a really nice bathroom at all times. So
now if we could we could go glamping.
Yeah, I need glamping, and I feel like that would hinder my process of finding Bigfoot. But maybe I wouldn't mind going to Scotland and staying in a castle and looking for the Loch Ness, maybe.
Ooh, yes.
Could be. I could work that out. Yeah.
That would be very cool.
Yeah, I would do that for sure.
Nessie was always my first love.
Yes, I think that would be really cool. I've always liked that.
We grew up with that was the thing, you know. Nessie was in there, and we were going to find her, and so now they have a webcam 24/7 devoted to watching the water. So.
Oh, that is so cool! I didn't know
that was like when we went to New York and they have Champ up there. I was like, oh yeah, come on, New York Nessie, come on.
Yes.
See the Champ.
Yeah, that would be so cool. I love that idea. I feel like the water is so vast. Like obviously woods are too, but I feel like the water is so vast. We just don't know. There's no way to know like what kind of creatures are down there. So I love that idea. You know, it's like space too. I mean, it's just everything is so vast. It would be so well, I mean, we are very what is like humans, we just assume we know everything, and that, you know, we know everything about science, we know everything about space, we know everything about everything. So I guess it's no shock that we all think that there's nothing out there we don't know. But I don't know. I just love the idea of finding finding Nessie and finding little green men and all of it.
Absolutely. The little green men, that one has always perplexed me because, mathematically we would have to be idiots to not think we're the only fish in the fishbowl,
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Like, I'm very open to the idea that it's something like that I don't even know what it is, and like it could be, beyond my comprehension of what it could be, but there's got to be something out there. I mean, I hope it's cute, whatever it is.
you don't think it's going to
Agreed.
be a little green monster?
Yeah.
Well, but to define monster to everybody, it's got its own meaning,
Right, exactly. They probably would think we're pretty ugly, so or
Yeah.
dumb or
Both.
yeah, or both, and really messing up Earth, that's for sure. So
Yeah, absolutely. I lost my train of thought.
So
go ahead, Shay.
what is your favorite horror movie then?
Ooh.
I have a soft spot for the Stanley Kubrick's The Shining.
Me too.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's my comfort.
Same.
Yeah.
It's weird whenever I've had a rough day at work and I've just got to sit down and color in my coloring books. I'll just put on The Shining. My fiance will walk in and be like, "Why do you like that so much? It's so boring." And I'm like,
"No.
But I love it."
Yeah.
It's like I say, it's my little blanket. If I need a movie to watch to fall asleep to, I'll just comfortably fall asleep to The Shining.
Yeah. I don't know. There's so many reasons why I love it, but it just it speaks to me on like so many levels. And I know that Stephen King hates it, and I know that it's like not, similar to the book and whatever, but I love it. I think it's a masterpiece. So
I do too. Very much so.
Yeah. So
my fiance is kind of a horror movie buff.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, well, I want something new to watch, but I need it to be like interesting that I'm gonna actually like it. And he was always like, don't watch The Shining. It's a slow burn. You're not gonna like it. You're gonna get bored. And then one day I was just on a movie binge and I was like, screw it, I'm gonna put it on. And I was just like, it's the best thing I've ever watched.
Yeah. Well, he just didn't know you well enough.
Apparently not. Because he'll just still be like, I can't believe that you like that. I still can't believe you like that.
Oh, funny. Yeah.
But I've got a weird taste in things though too. Like my top 3 favorite movies are all musicals too. So.
Oh, well, okay. So what are they? You have to tell me now.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, yes.
Sweeney Todd and West Side Story.
Oh, perfect. I love it. That's awesome.
So it's fighting real hardcore there in between like Rocky Horror and Sweeney Todd.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool.
Well, Meg, what are you working on right now?
Well, we're working on several projects. So we're hoping to do a second travel book that's a little more focused on writers, like more of a literary travel book. And then we're working on we've been working on a lot of TV and film projects. Hopefully I'll have something exciting to share really soon about that. And then I'm actually...
Yes, please do.
I'm actually in school right now. I'm kind of in the middle-aged part of my life. I'm actually going to be going to do my summer school at Oxford over across the pond.
Wow.
Getting my degree in creative writing. So I get to go play college student. I'm leaving my husband with the 2 teenage boys, and I'm going to go play college student this summer. So that's going to be fun. Yeah, we're actually doing we're doing a 10 episode season of Horror Rewind on YouTube as well. We're kind of we've been doing our podcast for a while now, but we're kind of doing an exciting kind of leveling up a little bit and putting a YouTube season out. So that's going to be this summer. We're going to be filming it here, part of it next week. So just a lot of things going on, and
sounds
yeah.
like it. You're gonna be a
oh
busy
yeah,
bee.
the travel book's coming out, and we have a book tour this fall as well, where we're actually going to be going to 5 of the cities that we talk about in the book, and we're actually giving ghost tours. So that's happening too. So yeah, everyone's gonna be sick of me. I'm gonna be everywhere, all over the place. So we're gonna be announcing what cities, and so hopefully people will be coming and hearing more ghost stories and coming along with us. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
It sounds like it. Yeah, when you announce those cities, you're gonna have to come back on and tell us all about it.
I'd love to. Cool. Hopefully my video will work then, and then you can see my ghoulish face.
Yes, please.
You're perfectly fine. And I'm happy that you've taken the time out of your day, especially considering all things that went haywire at the very last second.
No worries.
So I appreciate that immensely. And I'm would be one of the people that would probably travel to one of the cities where you're going to be at just to do the ghost tour. I think that would be cool.
Oh, we'd love it. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah, I hope to see lots of paranormal fans, and hopefully, I don't know, hopefully something will happen and we'll have a ghost join us. Wouldn't that be great? Or Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Or Bigfoot. Maybe he'll come out. Or Nessie. We'll take Nessie.
Mothman I'll send Mothman to come visit.
I love Mothman. He's like my favorite cryptid.
Yeah. Mothman's my little baby.
We just had a guest on that was hers as well, and I was like, I really don't know that much about him. I haven't heard that much about him. So
he's so cool. So
yeah, that's my hometown baby. I'm out of West Virginia, so
yes. Oh yes, you should be very proud.
Yes.
Oh, very cool.
I'm very proud of him. He's done so good.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, Meg, I appreciate it. And,
thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you. I apologize for the inconvenience that
no worries.
Difficulties caused. So, but yeah, please come back and visit us and keep in touch with me, because I think that not only
you're
do we
all about your fun summer too.
Yeah,
I want to hear about that. The teenage boys is going to be the hell part. So. That will be more challenging than any ghost or Nessie, I promise you.
Yeah. That's for sure. All right. Thank you so much.
Yes, Meg. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening. I appreciate your time.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, let's push a button here real quick, and then we will go from there.
Let's get ready to rumble!
I'm Miranda Maverick, and when I'm in fight camp, I never listen to the Sportcat podcast.
Okay, so for the chat, we had some people in the chat earlier. Our second guest, Martin Keller, I'm not sure that he's going to be able to make it since we had some technical difficulties. And basically, to explain to the viewer what happened was, Shay and I were backstage as we normally are, half hour or a little bit more before normal, talking, chatting, sending messages back and forth. And the moment Meg came in, I couldn't hear a single one of them, but they could all hear me. And I'm like, okay, so what changed? How did this happen? And so, we had haywire, and we had to get our technical support guru in here, aka my son. And so he got it up and going because apparently something changed all my settings here on my computer for no apparent reason. So these things happen. And when you're on live I don't know, we'll call it radio, video. You're already on edge when you have a spectacular guest such as Meg and with Martin lined up. And when something like this happens, it just makes your nerves just go through the roof. So I apologize to everyone. It happens though, and you just have to learn to roll with it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen, you know, one of my other friends, one of our other co-hosts, Bobby, he's had his show just completely vape out on the channel while he was live, you know? So I've seen weird things happen. Whenever you discuss the paranormal, it's almost like they know whatever they are.
Oh yeah.
They are, they is, yeah, whatever, proper English. So, but I can tell you that we will definitely have this fixed by Friday when we have the Grinning Guardian show. And on the Grinning Guardian show, we got a special guest. And I'm going to pull it up here. I'll tell you exactly who it is while I'm thinking of it. It is Macy from Elevation Discs. She's going to come on and talk to us about her military career. And of course, we'll talk about challenge coins, public safety, and disc golf. So disc golf. Things I like. A lot of things I like. So sometimes
and Macy is a lovely individual.
Oh yeah. I can't wait to find out about a little bit of her military career. So when we talked only about, you know, the paranormal, and then of course we touched on disc golf. So I can't wait to find out about her military career. It's interesting that she is coming straight out of the military and going into owning her own business, a very successful business, I might add. So
with what was it? They were using recycled plastics to make their discs, if I remember correctly.
Yes, they were.
And these ones, I think, were lighter and better quality.
They are. I actually
heavier and better quality. I don't remember which one she said.
Well, there's both, and then there's the one that's are real floppy and flexible. That's the one
I don't know anything about disc golf. I know how the sport is played, but I don't know anything about the discs.
I'll eventually change you. Don't worry. I'll eventually get you hooked. So
on disc golf, at most, I can probably get into some roller derby, but
well, that's true. I have on the sports show. We're going to talk to some ladies that are into roller derby. So we're going to have that on the sports. The Insider Sports, is that what we named it, Shay? It's so new, I don't even remember.
Sports Insider.
Sports Insider with Sportcat. That's a tongueful. So yeah, so we have, in fact, I think I'm going to release the first episode on Thursday. Most of those will probably be tape delayed, so there really won't be a live call-in or chat to those. But those are going to be pretty cool. The first one we have is a WWE, former WWE wrestler. We interviewed her real quick, and so we're going to have that out. I think I'll put that out Thursday, probably mid-evening. And then we have another wrestler we're interviewing this week and the following week.
And next week.
Yeah, we're loading up with wrestlers. And I believe I have a roller girl coming on the following week. She just hasn't confirmed yet. So, yeah, it's
sweet.
You know, and that was one thing I did want to touch on with Meg. She was talking about empowering women. That I have always been that way. I was the team paramedic for the Atlanta Roller Girls, and I thought that was the greatest thing since sliced cheese. I mean, you know, it introduced me to so many different things, and I'm so glad that I got to be a part of that when they were new here in Atlanta. And then, you know, life happens, you get busy, you move on. So,
and then I think our recorded episode this Sunday should be pretty daggone cool too, with Miss Allison Dunlap Shanes.
That should be a really good one.
Yes. I do not know how to pronounce this correctly. That's the theologian.
Theological.
I want to say theologian, but I don't think that's correct. But she is also a writer, broadcaster, and an exorcist.
Awesome. One of our wrestlers is an ordained minister. So, and she wanted to talk paranormal while she was talking sports. She was like, "Can we talk about both?" And I'm like, "Sure, absolutely."
Yeah.
In fact, I encourage it. I meant to tell Meg, the viewers last week that didn't get to see Leslie Hall, the interview that we did. He's got a book called Tracking Our Inner Animal. It sounded a lot like what she was talking about with discovering your inner witch. And it's kind of cool. I've only gotten into the first chapter. I got it. He sent me a copy. I got it yesterday. But it sounds like a lot.
You know what's funny about that is the week that you were gone when we talked to Glenn Williams, was it?
Yes.
For Bridging the Gap. He was very much on, it's not necessarily the inner witch, but just the intention you put behind things and bringing in the positive energy, which I think is a lot about the more modern day witch culture per se, is a lot of that intention you put into things and the positive attitude and, you know, bringing about things positively for yourself. And I was a little surprised to hear that on his part. But I was like, yeah, heck yeah.
Well, people don't realize.
And as a former, and he was a former police officer and detective, and was just really into all that. And I'm like, yeah, let's hear more of it, man.
Yeah, and you can go find all of our episodes if you want to go back and find that one. It was a Great and Guardian about 3-4 weeks ago, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You can check it out. And absolutely,
and you can get his book Bridging the Gap on Amazon.
Yes. I have. If I ever get a chance to sit down and read, I think I'm about 8 books behind. So
yeah. I'm still on. Well, Trey's book has now distracted me, but I was. Whose was I behind on? On Joseph Gioconda's The Pope's Butcher.
Yes.
And then I still have Joseph Souls to read, and You Are Deathless, and Bridging the Gap, and another one I have around here somewhere.
Yeah, I know. I got a pile of them myself, and
That's not the right one. Yeah, it's back there somewhere. It's in my pile of stuff.
Yeah, I got tripped up at the first of the year with a couple really good ones that I hung on to, and so. Oh,
and Philip Mantle's book too. That one, of course, I get something else, and it just.
Yes.
I was really, really into reading Philip Mantle's there for a while, and then you were telling me about Trey's, and I was like, okay, well, now I gotta go check that out.
Please tell me you went to chapter 13 first. So.
Well, I didn't.
Shame on you. For those of you who don't know, Trey Hudson is our team leader on ASOG, where we go out and look for ghosts, Bigfoot, paranormal, cryptid, UFO, and his book is called The Meadow Project. And I am in the entire chapter 13 because of my misadventure in the meadow.
I mean, from what you told me about it, it sounded pretty darn good. So,
in the heat of the moment, with all that was going on,
probably not so much.
Yeah, it really was more stressful. It was about as stressful as putting on a live podcast when everything goes absolutely haywire. It was about that stressful.
The other book I was thinking of was Mark Hill's Too Dark 30.
Yes. Nothing ever good happens at 3 a.m.
And I got all my stickers that he sent me for the book.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that got swag. And speaking of swag, I got the book yesterday from Leslie, and I've already started. I'm on chapter 2, 3, I don't know, something like that. I just got it yesterday afternoon. And then those of you that follow me know that I do on Tuesdays and Thursdays from noon till 2 radio show on the Thin Line radio station, Thin Line Rock Station.
Thin Line Rock Station.
yeah, Thin Line Rock Station. And they sent me a really nice wall flag to hang up. You can kind of see it behind me. I just got it draped over the TV until I figure out its permanent home. It's I was really surprised. Those guys are great to me. And in fact, that this will be coming up my second week. I'll be doing Flashback Fridays from 6 to 11 where I'm doing disco. I'm trying to convince them to let me have Disco Duck. So it's not all disco.
I was going to say, what kind of flashback? Because I feel like you need to play some Barbie Girl by Aqua.
What, that's actually in there. We've got the 50s to the 90s pretty much, so anything. He hits me with the program director, hits me with a little bit of everything. I get Elvis. I got C.W. McCall's Convoy, which started out as a joke, and it ended up people liked it and I liked it. So yeah, so we get some crazy ones thrown in there that you haven't heard of. So, and he's got, of course, I'm drawing a blank. I can see his face. The singer that does all the parody songs.
Weird Al.
Yeah, Weird Al. He's got a bunch of that too. So yeah, so it's a good time. You can check me out over there.
Love me some Weird Al.
I'm hoping that doing that allows me to get some more interviews with some, singers and musicians, because it's hard to get shows lined up and scheduled with professional writers and people. You have to go through a lot of people. Understand, you got to go through publicists. You don't just call them on the phone or drop them an email. It doesn't work that way. And so it's hard enough to get through to like them, like with Meg, obviously, and with musicians or actors, it's a total different level. But we are lucky.
Well,
we do
even anything of that nature, like even the few that I've tried to reach out to on Instagram.
Yeah. And well, we do have a few. Of course, we have a professional athlete that follows us with, of course, Miranda Maverick. And then we have a couple actors that follow us too. So I need to call Robin back, or David. And now that Twister is going to be coming out, get him to come on. So, because he was busy in the middle of filming that when we recorded him. And everything went absolutely haywire with his interview as well.
It was worth it, though, for the little tidbits to pop up when they did.
Yeah, we ended up getting about 40 minutes of pretty decent, audio out of it. But if you weren't watching the show and you weren't a fan, then he is an impersonator of Robin Williams. I kept telling everybody I was getting Robin Williams. And everybody was thinking Glenn with the Paranormal. I thought I was going to do something stupid. And when he came on stage, or he was backstage, when the way it works for behind the curtains is I can see everything on my left backstage. And when he came in, I saw he was dressed like Robin Williams. He was set to go like Robin Williams. And when I brought him out, he hit the ground running. And within 2 minutes, there were some terrible storms in, I think, Oklahoma is where Texas. And his internet would come in and out. And it was like, no, please. So. And
me and Dina were just like.
Yep. Yep. Because y'all doubted me. So, but.
Hey, Bobby doubted you. Correct that.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't doubt you. Bobby doubted you.
Bobby doubted me. He was the world's worst at it. So I hate that he couldn't come on tonight, but he's recording so many episodes right now. I think he just had a paleontologist on, so He's getting
did.
deep in the science part of it. I told him he's going to get smart and leave me behind. So I'm the dumb one that I'm
Tell
the
him
last one in the woods
he
that they bite.
He can keep the smart people. We get the funny people that are also smart.
Well, true story on our team. There are a psychologist, an engineer, paramedic, firefighter, nuclear engineer. We've got such a diversity, retired military from all different branches. And so, yeah, we've got quite a team, and some that worked with 3-letter agencies too. So we get to hear their spooky stories while we're sitting around the campfire waiting on something to happen, and we're manifesting it.
Hey, you just got to manifest the good vibes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what she was saying. And Bobby had started working on that too. So I had been trying to, and then my show went haywire. So
well, sometimes they can't handle it.
Yeah.
There's too much witchy goodness in one space.
Exactly. Well, I don't know what we should do. I don't know that. I know Martin was on a time limit schedule, so we're probably just going to have to reschedule with him. Hopefully, he'll understand that it was out of our control. There was nothing we could do. And
yeah, because everything was running fine and dandy. Granted, it wanted to be a little funky whenever I first came in, but for whatever reason.
Yeah, we'll get off stage. We'll get with our tech support guy and make sure everything's set up again properly. But I've changed nothing. I've changed absolutely nothing. So I guess we'll just have a short episode tonight, and hopefully we'll be able to get Martin rescheduled. And because I was really looking forward to talking some good alien and some government conspiracy stuff. So.
Speaking of that, we need to talk to Keith again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he messaged me the other day, actually. So it was about firefighting stuff. Yeah, you should. It was about firefighting stuff. He was back on the road. I'm not sure where he was at that point in time, but yeah, he was asking me some questions for his book. He's writing about a science fiction firefighter, which is kind of weird.
He's working on another book?
Yeah, I'm his, I don't want to call it technical support, but if he has a question about firefighting or paramedicine, I'm the guy who rolls their ass. So, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I need to, one of the first authors we interviewed at the beginning of the year, I finished up her other book, and she had a section there where she was being treated by, or not she, one of the characters was being treated by the paramedics, and she made like several mistakes that I'm sure somebody that wasn't, in the know would have not noticed, but I caught it right off. So I want to message her and say, hey, next time you have a paramedic or firefighter, let me know. I will
hit me
do
up.
that anyway. Well, it's like everything. Use your resources.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think sometimes with stuff like that, it kind of just goes, whoop.
Yeah.
You kind of forget that, oh, I do know all these people that do all this, blah, 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 blah.
And it's sometimes hard to reach out and ask for, it's not really a favor, but
yeah,
I have it from years ago messaged me the other day. He was in a class about something totally different, and he said, do you mind if I ask you a question? I'm like, oh, shoot. And I gave him like a 2-paragraph answer, and he's like, it's way over my head.
Some people don't want to feel like they're imposing.
Yeah, well, you can impose on me anytime. So, all right, well, Cheyenne, I think we're just gonna wrap it up and get the heck out of here. Oh, I thought you had an idea. And,
nope. I was wrapping it up.
Wrap it up. That's a song. I'll probably play that soon. All right. So next week,
you're gonna play Barbie Girl by Aqua.
I will put that in the playlist and see what happens. I don't control all of it. Who do we have next week? We have. Nope, that's this week.
I was gonna say, hold on, my thing's right here in front of me.
Oh, we have a wrestler next week, and then we have the crazy amazing J-Man.
Yes.
If I'm looking at it correctly. So yeah, when and that was funny when he came in. He's a shaman. When he came in, his internet went absolutely haywire, and he couldn't even connect with us. So and he's like, please let me come back on. I'm so sorry. I'm like, dude, it happens.
Yes, it's fine.
We get it. So, all right, well, and then of course,
hopefully we'll have another cool recorded episode on Tuesday. So,
yeah, we're recording every day this week.
Well, not this week, but we definitely will be next week.
Yes, absolutely. Is it? We're
well, let me rephrase that. You will be.
Yeah, that's. What have I signed up for? And
yeah, you've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday next week.
I'm gonna be crazy by then, crazier. And then I still have my Spinline Rock Station show. So you can't find me here. You can find me somewhere. And of course, I forgot to mention yurgsradio.com. Go over there and check us out on replay. And be thankful for allowing us to have a phone line. And I was hoping we get some good calling tonight. But maybe
check out Bracket Bastards.
Oh, that's right. We will see everyone soon.